Hey guys, welcome to day 2 of painting in quarantine. And I hope you've had a good day. And if by chance you're watching this in the morning, that's a lot of pressure to put on me. So anyway, today I painted my friend Lovisa, who was one of the people who asked me a question yesterday. I will definitely this time leave her Instagram in the description. And I had a really hard time with this painting. It was stressful and overwhelming. And I'm just gonna name it overwhelming because I feel like stressful and overwhelming is getting to be on the long side. But anyway, here we are. I wanted to start today with one of the questions that I have from my friend Kels Coker. And the question was, what emotions or feelings do you try to channel when you paint? Thank you, Kels, so much. Well, I thought it was important to start with this question because I want you guys to know what I'm about and why I love painting as much as I do, and generally just why I do it. So when I'm sure with many of you, it was the case that when you were younger and you had a tough time or like a hard day at kindergarten or 5th grade, maybe you went out to go see the sunset, as was my case, or you went to the park, or in some shape or form went to spend time outdoors. And I found it really interesting that was my inclination as like a 5-year-old to just I was really angry one day, really frustrated, and I didn't want to act out on it. I didn't want to like yell at anybody or lash out. So at a super young age, just like through intuition, I was like, let me go for a walk and maybe that'll help me calm down a bit. And it did. And from then on, from like that early age, I was taking walks to air it out whenever I got too worked up about anything. And as I started thinking about that a little bit more, it really just, it came to be that the closer we are to nature, the more we nurture our connection to nature in terms of appreciating it and regarding it as the grand, beautiful thing that it is and all that it gives to us and all that we take from it, that it's not necessarily going to mean you have a happy life right out the gate, but it definitely lends itself to an easier living, when you have that appreciation of the world that we live in. And that's kind of what I try to celebrate in my paintings. It probably is the case that it would be easier to just try to tell people how lovely nature is and how it carries on without stopping, like regardless of us. It isn't different in a very beautiful way, I think. Just think about how through your day you can go through so many ups and downs, so many hardships, so many beautiful moments, so much this and that, but all the while the sun was going, it was rising, and then it got to the top and it's setting, and it'll do the same thing tomorrow. It carries on regardless of whatever happens in the day. I can't even begin to guess whether or not that hits many people the same way, but it hits me hard and it helps me out a lot. And so it would seem ridiculous, really, and it was ridiculous kind of to try to explain that just verbally. And it would be ridiculous to go up to someone and be like, isn't that cloud beautiful? Don't you want to change your life because of that beautiful cloud or that landscape? So if I can just a little bit emphasize or focus on that beauty and that omnipresence of the indifferent universe. Through a painting, maybe make people think about it a little bit more, just like a tiny bit more, it all adds up. Then that's it. That's all I could really hope to do. And it feels really, really amazing when someone reaches out to me and tells me that they feel similarly about my work, which really is, I'm not really doing anything but ripping off nature in a way. Don't tell. Thanks. But that's about it. Let me know, definitely. I would love to hear in the comments if you guys think that is incredibly pompous and pretentious and fake, whatever, woo. And also, I would love to hear if you feel that, if you really get a lot of peace and contentment out of observing nature and exercise gratitude for the world that we've been given to live in. Because it's all a fluke. I think it's crazy lucky to be here. So how could I not be grateful? So I'll move on, because that's it about that, I suppose. So next, I wanted to cover colors, because I had a couple questions yesterday about my palette and how I lay out my colors. So from top to bottom, if you see here on the palette, we have titanium white and cadmium yellow light, and then is yellow ochre. Those are my two yellows. And then for my two reds, we have cadmium red light, and then we have alizarin crimson. Those are my two reds. And for the blues, I have a French ultramarine blue, and I have a phthalo blue. So those are my two blues. To give that a little bit of context, for each primary color there is two, and one is cool and the other is warm. And that's about all you need. That's all I've found I've needed to mix pretty much any color. But outside of that, if I do need a more extreme, vivid, artificial color, the colors I'll use for that are a quinacridone red, which I'll usually mix with cad red light to mix that beautiful orangey pink highlight that you see in clouds as the sun sets. I use that pretty often. And for some artificial greens and some intense blues, I'll use a phthalo green or a phthalo blue. Phthalos are crazy intense, and you can get pretty vibrant with them with titanium white before they get to be too chalky or pastel-y. Someone asked, my friend Weiss asked, how I pick the palette for the painting. So how I decide what colors I'm going to use in the painting. And the process for that is basically winging it. Yeah, someone else also asked, how do I choose my colors? Do I pre-select colors that I'm going to use in a painting, or do I just wing it? And essentially, I just wing it. There's probably one or two areas in a painting that really matter to me, and that I know exactly how I want them to go. So I'll probably decide what those colors are going to be first. In this painting, I know that the sun hitting the wall is going to be super bright, and that the shadows are just going to be like a deep reddish purple, and that's it. So those are the two extremes, and everything in between that is, on the spot, I'll decide. And it's usually just a matter of, does this have to be warmer or cooler? And that's the dance that you play through the process of the painting. Next is, I wanted to cover a little bit of today's process. Today's process was rough. I I don't know if you can hear this, but my voice is like cracking, like my heart is pumping right now. I am overwhelmed and I'm nervous, and I feel really vulnerable right now. So mix that, with recording and being in front of the camera while I'm painting, and I was kind of avoiding getting up close to the painting for detail because I didn't want my head to be in the shot. All of that really contributed to a really fussy hassle of a process today, and not to mention Lovisa is an incredibly tricky person to draw. It just requires, she has very subtle features, and unless you have a very very deep understanding of facial anatomy and its structures, it's really hard to get lost, because there's not too much differences between the planes of her face to guide you along and help you out there. So thankfully, and kind of unfortunately, the camera also turned off on me because I ran out of battery. So I'm gonna order a couple more packs of batteries today so I can record the whole process for you guys. I'm really sorry that didn't get to happen today. Hopefully what you do see is entertaining enough, and then it's gonna jump to the final product. So you don't see the whole build up to the end product, but then it's kind of like a surprise. Wow, it's done. So, but the good side of it turning off is that I was able to really focus and be able to solve the painting a little better. Which I gotta say, I did not solve the drawing. I was not able to do a good drawing of Lovisa. And Lovisa, I'm so sorry. It was tricky. I will try again. I will draw you every day until the next time I paint you and I can get it right. But for now, I just decided that, the drawing is good enough right now for a painting. Nobody's gonna look at the reference. You kind of have to cut your losses and forget about your ego and let it go, and just decide to do what you can for the painting to make it look good, to make it a good painting with what you have to work with. And that's kind of what I decided to do. It got very much toward the end, and I was super overwhelmed, and so I decided to just finish the rest of the painting. I did a little bit of work on the face and I left it as it was, and then I worked around the rest of the composition, and I think I pulled together okay. Okay, yes, other questions. So a couple other questions that I had yesterday that I wasn't able to get to because they were asked a bit after the video was already posted. What is the best part of being a painter? The best part of being a painter for me is being able to express myself, put it down on a sheet of paper, and be able to have conversations about it with my fellow artists. We each develop our own visual language. And we can have really awesome, meaningful conversations over each other's efforts and what we're trying to get at. And it's really the best. That connection you can form with someone over art is, I feel so blessed to be able to take part in that, and there's nothing else that really affords me that. So that's what I would say is the best part of being a painter. My least favorite artist, pass. Thank you for the question. A couple of these I already answered. Was I self-taught or did I go to art school? Yes, I went to art school. I went to SVA. I did 4 years. I got a BFA in illustration. And I wouldn't I wouldn't recommend it if you feel that you can take it upon yourself to teach yourself what you want to know for the career that you want. I wouldn't recommend college. I would only recommend college if you are very certain of what you want to do and you have clear goals ahead, and you're gonna get in college and you're gonna work on that and gonna get the most out of your curriculum. Outside of that, I don't think I'd recommend it. But yeah, I went to art school. Thank you so much. And I think that's about it for questions. I got a couple more, but they were kind of answered already in the video. So I guess I'll leave it there for today. I thought today was going to be a little bit more concise and well put together than yesterday. But no. You know what? I'm learning, and I promise it will get better, but maybe just not as soon as I had planned. Thank you for tuning in again. I know that the video was blurry in the beginning. I fixed that as soon as I noticed. And I hope you liked the painting, and I hope you painted today, and I hope you'll paint tomorrow, or whatever it is that you like to do. However it is you like to express yourself. I hope you give yourself plenty of chances to do it these like in this strange time. So good night, stay kind, and I'll see you back again tomorrow.